G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be doing a no item run challenge for the Universal Survival Saga Super Battle Road stage. Now this is, how can you say it, a lot simpler than it used to be. USS used to be a pretty challenging Super Battle Road stage, and there's a couple of reasons for it. Firstly, multiple enemies on each stage fight. It's always a challenging situation to be in. When you're facing 3, then 5, then 4 enemies, it's not an exciting situation. It can be quite challenging because the more enemies you face, although technically they get reduced damage and reduced kind of conditions in the SBR format. Remember, the more enemies, technically the less health and the easier it is to kill them. It also means you have more chance to take a super and more chance, in theory, to take a type disadvantage super, which is really the big kind of, I don't want to say blunder, but the big concern that we have when we're running USS. Are we going to cop a frontal disadvantage super attack and just kind of be stuck that way? So that's probably the biggest negative, in inverted commas, and I would say it's kind of like the biggest thing to kind of work your way around. Fortunately, the SBR has gotten a lot easier, and the team that we're using has just gotten a lot better. There's also a lot of really strong high caliber leads for USS just in general. So for me, overall, you should have enough options to really kind of bring it home and make life easier. Kind of wanted to go with a Universe 6 kind of build here, but with a little bit of flair, because I wanted to give Kaba that kind of connection with Vegeta, just kind of see how that went. And there was a little bit of experimentation. I think if I really want to kind of discuss it in inverted commas, I did experiment a little bit with just trying out some different things. Now tech hit, you've seen me use him in a lot of stages. He's just a top tier unit. His easy aim made him really good, and he's probably still one of my favorite floating, or just in general, SBR and ESBR units. Any situation where you can get stuns, hit is always going to be good. He's got good after super defense. He's also got incredibly powerful utility abilities, with a double chance to stun from both his super and his passive, as well as also all those increased benefits from that stunning or his attacks. Just that debuffing, the stunning, etc. It's all really solid. Then we have a really top-notch pick in the form of Rubrianne. Rubrianne, I think, has probably one of the best EZAs of all time. It's just that she's on Pepe Gals, so she tends to get overlooked. But really, Rubrianne is just nutty. Her EZA is insane, like borderline insane. She debuffs the enemy by 30% as long as you have 3 Pepe Gals on the team, which we do, and it includes herself, by the way. She's at 30% support for Pepe Gals. She is plus attack and defense of 20%. She is 140% attack and defense. She launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack when the target enemy is an attack down or defense down. And she just has an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack when the target is stunned or sealed. Not to mention, she herself seals the target. So I would say that's pretty good. Not only does she seal, she provides support, she fires multiple supers, and just in general she's great, especially in these situations. A flat 30% debuff to the opposition is the same as running with a mouse item all the time. It's literally like running with a mouse item. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and she's really solid because of it. So those are kind of the two, I want to say, picks I think are absolutely necessary for this. I know it sounds weird to say, but I think those are absolutely necessary. Then we have Tech Caulifla and we have Strength Kale, both of which are really solid options. Tech Caulifla, fantastic unit. has very high chance to evade when we have a team built like this. 8% per Universe 6 or Pepe Gals category ally on the team, and this double counts for both. So if a unit is both Pepe Gals and both Universe 6, they will give her 16%. So immediately she has 32% to evade just off of the fact that we have her and Kale on the team. Throw in the fact that we have Hit, throw in the fact that we have Rubriana, and all of a sudden we are sitting, well above 50%, and we're looking really, really good. So that is just something to understand. She also has automatic evasion when facing a Pure Saiyans or a USS team, so just really good. Defense is solid, offense not so spectacular, but then her alongside Kale is just a really fun combination to run. Kale's kind of the guard version of Caulifla, so as long as Caulifla is in the same rotation, she'll guard all attacks, and this alone, again, is also an incredibly powerful and impressive ability. So we got those two, and their rotation is pretty much locked up. We have Rubriane on the floating abilities side, and she's locking everything up. We have Hit floating on all sides, which is locking everything up in terms of stunning and capabilities. So then I felt like it would be a lot of fun to run a Kaba and a Vegeta rotation. Why? Because just why not? There's very few times I get to use Vegeta to the point where, I don't want to say where he looks good, because I think he can still look good, but there's very few times where I get to kind of run Vegeta right now. Universal Survival Saga needs a couple buffs, and I think overall, just in general, needs a bit more oomph. But I think, if I look at Kaba, Kaba is obviously great alongside of Vegeta. He gives a 40% support for Universal Survival Saga category units. He has plus 60% attack when there's a Vegeta in the same turn. He will raise his attack and defense if there's a Vegeta on the team. And basically, just a really, really simple unit that's really solid alongside Vegeta, giving him some decent linkage, nothing crazy, but decent linkage, because he's got Tournament of Power, Saiyan Warrior, and Fierce Battle, so he's got some links with them, but he's giving him 40% support, he's giving him some key, and Vegeta himself, he'll do his thing. He's got his damage reduction mechanisms, he's got his base high chance of critting on his super attacks, so in general, he's got enough to make himself look impressive, I would say. I'm not going to say he looks like a A-tier LR anymore, like a top 5 or a top 10, but I think he's still a lot of fun to run, and I think, in these kind of moments, he really, really starts to shine. So that's basically it. Kaba and Vegeta is one rotation, Kale and Caulifla is the other rotation, and then you have both Hits floating, and you have Rubriane floating, and that kind of makes up the team. You could change things up completely. You could replace Vegeta with another Universe 6 unit. It would be highly suggested. You could run a full Pepe Girls team. You could run a full Universe 6 team, a full RAU 7s team. You could just do whatever. Like, it really isn't a big deal. You can run 1,000 different variations of teams here. I think there's plenty for you to do. But you don't really need to panic, I want to say, or anything like that. There's so many different variations of teams to try and get your no item run here that I can't see players having a super difficult time finding success. I think in reality it's not guaranteed, but there's so many good solid options that at least the SBR, the Super Battle Road version of this, is going to be a fairly simple time for you. Now obviously, of course, everyone has their own box, so maybe yours isn't good enough, or maybe you're just missing a couple key components. But that's fine, you can always come back, it's really not a big deal. It just honestly depends on how your box is at the time. If there's any unit I would say is crucial to this, it's probably in Rubriane. and you can get her completely free to play with red tickets during big celebrations. So yeah, I think, if you got her, you're basically there, to be honest with you. Especially if you just run the double Ribriannes and a Pepper Gals team. I think like that's really kind of it. There's nothing else really to focus on. But that's it from me. Bye.